Okay, so we are going to call the Wednesday, April 24th meeting of the Hollis Planningboard call to order. We'll do roll call. If we're going to, I think I'm going to try to follow Greg's way. So that would go to my left. Can you just introduce yourself?
Don Roth.
Seth Davis.
Tom
Nick Hebert.
Oh, I thought we were going this way.
Steven Stark.
Tom Wachowski.
And Heather Sullivan, our chair, Greg McPherson, is not here, so I have the opportunity to sit in his seat tonight, so I'll be running the meeting. I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the minutes from previous meetings. Does everyone have a copy of their minutes? If you weren't at the meeting, our recommendation is that you pass, but I know there's a better word for that.
Abstain.
Abstain, thank you. That you abstain from voting on it since you weren't there. We'll take up meeting of the March 13th first. And does anyone have any comments or any recommended changes? Hearing none, I will take a motion.
So moved.
I will take a motion to approve the planning board meetings, the planning board minutes from March 13th. Second. Oh,
Still moved.
Second.
any discussion?
No.
And so how do you vote, Dawn?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I vote yes. Taking up the minutes of planning board meeting from March 27th. Does anyone have any comments, changes? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion to approve planning board meeting minutes from March 27th.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? And Dawn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Abstain.
Yes.
And I vote yes. So we've gotten that taken care of. I think we usually just check on correspondence. Do we have any correspondence, Angela? No. Terrific. No correspondence. Then I will take a motion to suspend the planning board meeting and open the public hearing.
We don't have one tonight.
Nope. So it's just public comment period. Then now's the opportunity for members of the public. If you would like to speak, we do ask that you come up to the microphone, introduce yourself, and let us know what's going on.
How many people want to speak? Is there more than one?
Yeah. I mean, you guys need to jump right up, get up in there.
Sorry, we don't have a planned presentation.
No worries.
I'm Christy Duncan. I live at 3 Harmon Way. You may or may not know about the situation that is happening there. Do you guys know?
We would like to hear it from you guys.
Okay. Well, we have a 4-house cluster subdivision, and as of May 1st of last year, 2023, all houses have flooded. We have brought this to the attention of the town several times, and we have received no help, but at this point it has spread because we're pumping millions of gallons of water from our homes, and we have now affected the homes off of Sarah Vaughn and now Clark's Farm as well. And so I'm just here asking for support from the town to just have the responsible parties correct the issue. We didn't get a lot of positive feedback or any feedback at the last meeting, so I'm hoping for some help from you guys.
So I will, I wasn't there, but I did watch the planning board meeting, and I have heard what's going on. We're all I think we're all homeowners here. So we sympathize a lot with what's going on for you guys. I will say, we have been advised by the town's attorney to not comment. So there's not much we can say about it. We're gonna follow that advice. But we're more than willing to listen, and obviously this is public, so getting your position out there is gonna, be valuable. But we can't comment on it.
So if I ask you questions, will you answer them?
It depends, but no, probably not. I mean, it's a sticky wicket.
Can you answer what the certificate of occupancy means?
I cannot, because the planning board is not, our role is not to, we have nothing to do with certificates of occupancy. Our role is to look at proposed development in the town of Hollis and take plans, feedback, our engineering reports, and make an assessment of whether or not that development can move forward. So once that's a yes, or in the cases when that's a yes, after that point, planning board is not involved.
Okay, because according to the planning board ordinance, it says the board shall perform such duties and exercise such powers as are provided by Hollis zoning ordinance, Hollis shoreline zoning ordinance, Hollis subdivision regulations, and the laws of the state. So one thing that I found that was interesting on our plans that you guys approve, it says here the property shown in this plan shall be developed and used only as depicted on this approved plan. All elements and features of the plan and all representations made by the applicant concerning the development and use of the property which appear on the record of the planning board proceedings are conditions of the approval. No change from the conditions of approval is permitted unless an amended plan is first submitted and approved by the planning board.
Correct.
So again, this is a planning board that I have, this document. Another thing, I requested all the documents for my house specifically, and even in here too, it says, it's really hard, I have it on my iPad. But all construction inspections shall be conducted by someone with knowledge of erosion and stormwater control, including standard and permit conditions. So the instruction shall be performed at least once a week and prior and after 24 hours after a wet weather event, which consists of 1 inch or more in a 24-hour period. So I wanted to know, were you guys enforcing that? Did we have those records?
So our job is not enforcement. If you look at the planning board ordinance, there's no enforcement provision in there for us. So our job is on the front end. So it is getting documentation from experts, making an assessment of whether or not what is planned meets comprehensive plan, the zoning ordinance or the subdivision ordinance itself, and the enforcement piece is with the town itself, not with the volunteer board.
So it is the town, okay.
Yeah.
So it says no plan shall be approved by the board as long as the subdivider is in violation of the provisions on previously approved plans. So again, we are aware that developer has issues with one of his developments. Are there any permits that you guys have issued, any plans that you guys are accepting currently right now with him?
That is a good question. So no one has, so what we would do is we would rely on staff to tell us this. No, we don't get a report of violations. So someone would have to tell us this person, this applicant. So it's the applicant. It's not necessarily the developer. The developer represents an applicant, but it's the applicant themselves. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I think it would be one that the town could answer.
And then also, if the inspecting official finds that any of the required improvements have not been constructed in accordance with the plans and specifications, the inspecting official shall so report in writing to municipal officers, the planning board, and the subdivider or builder. The municipal officers shall take any steps necessary to preserve the municipal's rights. So again, you're saying you guys had no idea.
We're not municipal officers.
But you are the planning
Yes,
board.
but someone would have to give us a report in order for us to.
So there's a lack of communication.
I don't know. I can tell you that I'm not aware of any report like that being given to the planning board.
Who's the inspecting official?
Code enforcement.
All right.
Unless code enforcement decides someone else they want to bring in another person. They have their, and we're not municipal officials. So the municipal official piece would not be with us.
Okay. Also, so things like, I was not prepared enough. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. So, conformity with the comprehensive plan, all proposed subdivisions shall be in conformity with the comprehensive plan or policy statement of the municipality. The plan by notes on the final plan and deed restriction prohibit the clearing of trees from those areas designated on the plan. So again, we've had our cluster subdivision was approved with 50% of the land not being touched. It's been stripped. And so that's another question I have, because I also have all the dates that the permits were written off on my home specifically. And I don't understand how they came in February and April and nobody noticed that the trees were gone, because it's pretty obvious. There shouldn't be any building permits given until the road is signed off on. And that's something that I found interesting too, because I couldn't find anything about the road being signed off on. But on January 3rd of 2022, their engineer came through. It was just a construction inspection. It said the intent of this inspection is to make general observations and inspect work in progress for the road construction. So once to assume the road's not done, right? It's in progress on January 3rd, 2022. On January 4th, there's a building permit. So that sounds odd. And then we also have the certificate of occupancy. And again, I have nothing showing the road was signed off in. And the engineer actually came this week, I think it was 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? And they said, as it is, they would never sign off on it. So I'm just wondering what we can do to correct this, because there's clearly some process improvement opportunity.
Absolutely. So we review plans in accordance with, we go very through step by step, which I think you will see in the materials. There's a very stepped through plan where we do findings. It's called findings of facts. And we actually, there's a list of facts that we have to find. And we actually discuss it and identify what it is that gave us confidence that particular item was met. So have you looked at the planning board minutes?
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty generic. One of the things had to do with water, and that was another question that I had, because do you guys take into account the vegetation that's stripped in the other houses that have been built, and when you guys determine that, it's not a flood zone? Because, maybe it wasn't 100 years ago when there were just trees and no houses, but when you're stripping acres of trees and you've already added a bunch of houses, is that something
we don't determine what a flood zone is. That's determined by FEMA, right? FEMA determines what a flood zone is. And I believe you stated that one of the conditions was that 50% of the trees needed, of the woods
which wasn't
needed to
met
stay.
though. But that's what I'm saying is why.
Right, but what you're describing is an enforcement issue. We put on the plan, so we're the ones that said no more than 50%. We don't then enforce.
It's the code enforcer's responsibility.
It's the town. I don't know if it's specifically code enforcement. I couldn't tell you.
Because I've been told by the code enforcer that the select board stopping them, and the select board won't let us talk to the attorney because we have to go through them, and you guys can't talk to us. So who's going to talk to us and help us? Because it sounds like nobody can talk to us. I'm not really sure what our tax dollars are paying for. We're in this mess.
Well,
I have a letter of occupancy for a home that I shouldn't even have. I shouldn't even live there. Nobody should live there. And again, you don't have to be an engineer to pull up into the neighborhood, which we've had people just show up to see there's no ditches. I have pictures too. They should be 2 feet wide. They're not there. Trees were cleared. We have the excavator posting these pictures. If you want to look on Facebook, you can see them. They're dated. So what is the town doing?
So I don't represent the town. I am a private citizen who volunteer. We are private citizens who volunteer to be on the planning board. You saw the planning board ordinance. We have a very strict set of parameters of things that we can do and not do. And we approve plans. The plans that were presented to us, I believe, I went back and looked at our meeting minutes. We did all the steps that we normally do. Enforcement, that is not in our wheelhouse. And I'm not an expert on town government and how things work. I'm literally a lady that lives in town that wanted to get involved, and now I've been doing it for 7 years.
So who do we need to talk to in the town that can help us? Because it sounds like everybody's saying that it's not them. It has to be somebody. It just sounds like everybody's passing the buck, and while we literally just start drowning.
So
I understand you guys approved the final plan, but what happens after that? Like, who's overseeing? I have permits that things were checked off. They shouldn't have been. So what are we going to do to prevent this from happening in the future?
So that would be, I mean, when we look at zoning ordinances, which we do from time to time and make recommended changes, but I can tell you that we would never take an enforcement role. So it's not at us to resolve. If the select board wanted to put forth changes to the zoning ordinance, then they would come through us and we would look at them and either say, we think this is a good idea, we support passing it. All that stuff gets done. Any changes to zoning gets done by the public, so we vote on it. We actually have a vote coming up in June where there will be some changes to the zoning ordinances. I don't think they reflect anything that what you're talking about. These were areas that we identified as a board and said, this needs to be cleaned up. Or there were changes to state law and our zoning ordinance didn't meet state law any longer. So, and that all goes in front of the voters.
Okay, so as far as permits and plans for the developer, are you guys going to halt those for now? Because at least you guys have the power to look at the final plan, and you guys can choose to say no because he's in violation with other plans.
So
That should
I'll be
fall under
honest,
your scope.
that would be a legal issue. It has not been brought to my attention that that is a step that we should take.
Okay,
No,
again,
so-
the town's been notified of our issue, again, like, since last year. So I'm finding it really hard to believe that nobody communicates and talks about what's going on, and this is actually concerning.
So
I even saw something about, you guys had a cluster subdivision
we talk about clusters all
act
the time.
that was, you guys, oh, here it is right here. One thing that I thought was really odd too was that, yeah, you guys said that Article 25, right? So members of the select board say that a number of people, around 10, have come into their office and complained about the developments in town. It'd be really helpful to know what these people said and what others have to say. So I also think do you guys not ask, like, who is this? Like, what is your name? So you guys can follow up.
We don't have a follow-up. Like, our job, so
But wait.
you
so-
coming here and telling us, that's how we know things. If someone else doesn't tell us that, no. I, like many of us here, work a full-time job. No, I don't go and say, what's going on in town and who's come in and complained about things? Because people complain about things a lot, myself included.
Well, this had something to do, you guys voted on this, so you guys did have a discussion, and it says the chair of the planning board has reached out to the select board and they rejected an invitation to address the planning board. So again, why
Correct.
isn't there communication?
I think that what you're seeing there is our attempt at communication, right?
Okay.
We went and said, come and talk to us. They did not.
So we can conclude that the select board just doesn't like to talk.
I'm not
And
going to
they're
make a
preventing the
conclusion.
code
Yeah.
enforcer from enforcing the code.
Again, I'm not. I'll let your statement stand.
Okay. Well, I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
For now.
Totally got it. Do we have other people who would like to come up and let us know what's going on?
You guys are all here.
Yeah, I mean, take advantage of the
Anything you
opportunity
want
to get how you
Honestly.
feel on the record. I would. I mean, I get to sit up here and say whatever I want. Pardon?
That wasn't how I felt. I was being nice.
No, that's fantastic.
And it much appreciated. Civility, much appreciated. I am one that gets very passionate about things myself, so I respect that. So I'm going to make one more call. Do we have anyone on Zoom that wants to speak? So you guys aren't going to have another chance at this meeting to just letting. Awesome. Perfect.
Fantastic.
Get right on up there.
So I'm going the emotional aspect. because
Please do.
I'm there. I'm Rachel. I'm on 70 Sarah Vaughn.
Rachel, what's your last name?
Gilmore.
Thank you.
I'm going the aspect of the health, my children, my property is gone. I'm several, I don't know how far I am away from you guys, but I am pretty far. And I am the low point, so now my entire backyard is 4 feet, 5 feet in some areas I can't get to, underwater, where my children play. I requested that you guys be informed 2 days ago and last week and see pictures of what's going on, because I know that you guys don't have time to drop by. But in turn, we are asking for help. We need backup. The code enforcement officer prior signed off on something. It's wrong. We make mistakes. But what do you have to do in your job when you make a mistake? You have to fix it. We're asking for someone to help us fix it. My children can't play out back on their playground that's 4 feet underwater. Their ATVs are ruined. My John Deere is ruined. It's all ruined. And guess who has to pay for it? Me. I'm asking for help. They're asking for help. This is hurting us. Husband is originally from Maine. I moved to Maine because I knew people were good and had big hearts. I'm outside of Baltimore is where I came from. Not a great area. It hurts that nobody wants to help us. You guys, the town of Hollis has signed off on homes that have ruined an entire street. And it's at the bottom line is take responsibility for what has been done. Or it's going to get bigger. And when I say it's going to get bigger, I've contacted the DEP because now at this point I have to test my water weekly. There's algae growing in it. There's stuff coming from their basement filtering out into a pond. It's got algae. God knows what else. E. coli, bacteria. So now I have to worry about every single day my child taking a bath, my child drinking water. I know people in this room whose children play at my house. Now I have to make sure that their children don't touch our water if I haven't tested it every single week. This is ridiculous. This isn't fair. And it's really not fair that the town of Hollis signed off on homes built in a water table. Like, where's the common sense here? We need help. Or again, I've talked to CDC, DEP, the I team I know has been contacted by somebody else. The next I'm going to the Attorney General. I mean, and I don't know what to do. And it's not even my home, it's my property. It's sad that you guys, the town of Hollis, is not backing us up. And we need help. And that's the bottom line here. We're asking for help. We don't want to do all this. I got stuff to do. We just need help. And that's the bottom line. And I really don't understand why the town of Hollis will not help their people. I don't get it. And that's really all I have to say because I get emotional at this point.
Thank you for speaking up, even though you get emotional. Hi.
Hi, Amanda Boucher.
Hi,
I'm
Amanda.
not good at public speaking. But
I've seen you speak before. You're an expert at it by now.
So I just wanted to say that I love my house. I moved to Hollis because I wanted to be in the woods. I wanted to be near family. My stepchildren live here. I've met amazing people here so far. However, my house is not okay. My house is flooding constantly. My husband's had to pay for pipes, and there's just water rushing all the time out to the road. I've had to meet people and apologize to them, and I've never met them before, and say, I'm really sorry. We have water pumping over here. I hope it's not affecting your home or your yard, which is upsetting. I would never want to, disrespect anyone's home or their land or anything like that. And so it's a lot of money. It's a lot of stress. It's just this is our home. We put everything we have into it. So having to check my basement every morning, every night to make sure there's no water in it. Having to make sure that the pumps are hooked up. If my husband goes to work and one of the pumps breaks, I feel like crying. Or something, I don't want mold in my basement. We just bought this house. I have 4 kids. I don't want my kids getting sick either. My dog has to walk through water to go out and use the bathroom. So I just want to say I appreciate everyone saying everything. From the bottom of my heart, losing my mom's things in this flood from my house. I can't replace them. I'm not going to cry, but there's just things that we really need help. I don't know who can help us, but please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jay Boucher, the husband.
Ah.
All right, we own 2 Harmon Way. Absolutely, since we moved in there, it's been nothing but water this whole time. Coming here a few weeks ago, we started with 6 people. Now we're all the way up to here, you know, and trying to do this. This is what's restoring my faith in Hollis right here. All right, I've never met half of these people, but since December 22nd when I bought the house. But then I come up here and I ask, you know, we ask for help through the town. And we're basically getting told to go get a lawyer. Myself, Mike, his wife, we just bought these houses. We were not disclosed any of this information. The realtor, the previous homeowners, no one disclosed this information to us. All right, and we buy this home, we come in here, and then we get told that go get a lawyer. I can't afford a lawyer. I just put how much down on a $500,000 house? I mean, I can't afford one right now. You know how much money they have? They're going to drag this as long as they can. We can't afford that, or I can't afford that, you know, maybe altogether, but this isn't right, what's going on. You know, we're here, we just came to the community, you know, I've been in Maine my whole life, finally had my dream home on the trail, so excited about that. May 15th can't come quick enough. But I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we're here, and the great people that are here. I thought we had a great town to back us up, but that's the one thing. This is restoring my faith in Hollis, not you guys, but the other answers I've been getting is making me absolutely hate that. You know, we should all be working together to solve a problem. People are getting sick. I spent $600 a month in electricity last month. That's not including 10 to 15 gallons a week of gas to run a gas pump. I'm not the only one. All these guys spend an awful lot of money to do that. I know the neighbors that's not even on Harmon Way had to spend $1,500 to buy a gas pump, but they're helping their neighbors. They're not just doing their own, they're helping their neighbors. This is what Hollis was supposed to be about. You know, I don't know anymore. You know, these guys are making me believe in it. And I love it out here, you know, besides that. So thank you for your time. Had to say my piece.
Thank you for saying your piece.
Oh, the other thing is, I do own a shop. When all my guys, I have 3 to 4 guys, depending on what time of year it is, that work for me. They mess up, that's on me. That's me. They mess up your car, they don't, never happened, but say they didn't put an oil drain plug in, and they blew a motor. Who's paying for that motor? Me. That's not your fault.
Yep.
That's not the customer's fault. You know, that's me. Obviously, he ain't going to do it, but you know what I'm saying. You got to back up the people who work for you, because they're the direct representation of who you are and who this business or who this town is supposed to be.
How you doing?
Hello. Good. How are you?
David Estrella. I live at 24 Sarah Vaughan. I just got a point I kind of want to make, and it's going to be more the next meeting when we talk to the select board, because, I mean, you guys have your roles. You guys, I'm not familiar with local politics, but I am a little disgusted at how that the select board specifically keeps telling these people to get a lawyer. They're elected officials, right? Our tax dollars are paying their salaries. Our tax dollars are paying the attorney that's telling you all to be quiet. Those resources should absolutely be spent helping the residents. And the select board is, by policy 41, supposed to take care of their residents, their health and well-being. But instead, the resources are being spent to shut them up, get a lawyer, to protect whatever mistakes were made. And that's wrong. It's unethical, and it's certainly a neglected duty. Now, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody here again, but I will be pointing fingers at the select board at the next meeting. And what these builders did is not the first time they've done it. Not just these builders, all kinds of builders. Certainly, you guys may be aware of the recent law that's been passed by the state of Maine concerning the town of Raymond. A shoreline law about how they come in and they do these resource grabs, steal loams, steal trees, destroy an environment. Our environment has been destroyed.
Like, people just had to pay, right? Like,
Well, I mean, I don't know the entire
Yeah,
law.
I grew up in Raymond, so I just
I've
pay
been doing a
attention a
little
little bit to
research
that.
because of all this, and
Yep.
these are the stories that I'm coming
Yep.
up with. And I'm trying to see how the town should be helping us, not taking a lawyer and being quiet. Again, those resources absolutely being spent on a town attorney to assist its residents, not work against them. So when you guys do speak to whomever you speak to in local government, you should kind of pass that information along, because
Well, you're doing it far better than I would.
Well-
so that's coming out and speaking out is
I shouldn't
how
have to.
that's how it works in small town politics.
shouldn't
I
have
don't want
to.
to say politics. That's right.
Political.
But that's how it works.
I am.
Come out and speak out. That's how you get 6 people in one meeting and 24 people or whatever it is today.
My final point on this is, these people that are doing this, making all this money and just ignoring and not caring about the residents, they're gonna do it again. But it seems like you guys are in charge of making sure that doesn't happen again within your realm. So please keep an eye on what's happening. This cannot happen again in the future, and it should not happen. Like I said, it's not the first time, and it won't be the last time, but it should be the last time in Hollis. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't be shy. It feels really good. So as a resident of Hollis, I always encourage people, if you don't like what you're seeing, do what we did. Volunteer, get involved, show up to the meetings, speak out, get on a board. That's how I've managed to deal with some of the things that I don't like in this, I do it, nationally, locally. Sir, please, we don't want to hear from me.
Don Berthium, 22 Sarabon Road, and I'm not really familiar with the policy or the function of a planning board. On the surface, it appears that if a developer purchases a piece of property, he submits some sort of plan to you.
Yes.
And then who actually reviews the plan to its full completion, so there's no changes from the initial plan to the final plan? And if there are changes made, you're telling me that you don't enforce.
Our board does not enforce.
Well, then what happens if a plan that has been initially submitted and the final plan, what happens if changes are made?
So if changes are made to the plan itself, it
Yes,
would come
and-
back in front of us, and we would have to approve changes. And I believe it says it right on the documents that
all right.
that the expectation is that when a plan is signed and filed,
Yep.
that it will be built according to that plan. It's our job to make sure that that plan contains everything that we identified, us and experts that we bring in, because I'm certainly no expert. So these guys often hear me say, can we get our, can we get the civil engineer? Can we get someone to give us a report that I can read? And,
Yeah.
and this is someone who's an expert and also has liability.
Let's look at case in point, the road, which is a private road. There are supposed to be some built-in factors for irrigation and drainage and the quality of the material.
Yes.
It's not there.
So
So
when we
is that
reviewed
the
the plan,
final
that it said it
plan?
on the plan. Yeah, the final plan is the signed plan that gets, where does it get filed at registry, or is it, that gets filed in York County Registry of Deeds? So if there are any, there's a plan and then there's execution of the plan.
Yes.
And I think what you're referring to is not the final plan, you're referring to the execution of the final plan that gets filed.
Well,
So-
I'm not quite sure of the legal jargon. All I am sure of, what was initially submitted, it's not there in completion, thus contributing to the water problem. There's no drainage. There's no irrigation. There's no quality of material. The width of the road is not what it should be. Does that indicate perhaps just one item that wasn't really followed through with all of the plans?
I mean, a
Well,
reasonable
yeah,
person would
another
say
question.
yes.
What's a soil test?
What is a soil test?
Yeah, so
wish Craig was
builders or developers have to do a soil test.
Correct.
does that also indicate the quality of drainage?
Yes, I believe, yes, I don't have the report in front of me,
Yeah.
but we do, yes.
Okay. So is there also the opportunity to assess a high water table line?
That I don't know the answer to.
Is there the opportunity of deciding, gee, if I put a full foundation in, it is going to submerge into the water table?
Again, that would be part of the engineering report that we get, and we would expect that a professional engineer that is hired by us would say to us, we don't, if there was a concern, we would expect to see it in the report. That is when we would then say, hey, this report says this. I mean, if you look at other planning board meetings, we have done that where we've said the report doesn't give us enough information to make a decision, get us more information. There's a variety of different things.
Well, thank you, Heather. But again, from an outsider looking, it appears that there could be some errors that weren't followed through or corrected. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now I'm just looking at the people who haven't spoken yet, waiting and encouraging you to come on up. I will take a motion. Oh, I don't need a motion, right? Seeing that we don't have any additional public comment, we're going to move on to the next section of the planning board agenda. Do know that as homeowners, neighbors, residents of Hollis, we are very sympathetic. Totally understand the emotion and the feeling. Yeah, and the frustration. Yes. I'll just leave it at that. And of course, you guys are more than welcome to stick around. Of course, yes.
I also want to say, too, part of the plan does say that the as-built drawings should be submitted to the town upon completion. I had to request that. We got that last year. I moved in 2022. So I also want to let you guys know that wasn't followed through. And then I also do want to ask the attorney, since we're not allowed to talk to them. Again, like we've already mentioned, our tax dollars are paying for their time. So when is she going to help us? That's all.
Thank you.
Sorry.
You do have to get back up on the mic just because we can't hear you if you don't.
Are there any plans for more homes to be built on Sarah Barn?
I have not seen any plans, but planning board would only see, so we don't approve every house that gets built. We approve subdivisions, so 3 houses or more. So a single home or 2 homes on two lots would not come through us at all.
Yeah, the reason why I asked, on a Sunday morning, there were 2 vehicles that came along Sarah Barn opposite my household, and they were looking at the property that's right across the street, and the next thing you know, there were ribbons being attached to trees to indicate, gee, this is the potential lot. So my point being, if there is a proposal to expand, will that be prudent considering the water table? Will it also impact the surrounding homes?
Well, certainly if there was an application that came forward
Yep.
for development,
Yep.
for a subdivision, it comes in front of us. It's publicly noticed, abutters get notified, and now that you guys have come in front of us and let us know what's going on, we can take that into consideration in looking at any future development.
Yeah. Heather. Yeah. Heather, thank you very much, and thank you to the board. You were very considerate. and helpful.
I appreciate you guys for coming out and being very considerate as well. I know this is emotional, and so I really appreciate you guys coming out, speaking to us, neighbor to neighbor.
I do have a question. I'm not 100% sure of where the location is, but I was told from a friend who heard about our issue that this developer also is going to build another 18 homes. There's a property.
We don't know about it until an application is filed.
Okay.
Sometimes we get, sometimes developers will contact our secretary and just say, when can I get on the agenda?
Okay.
I'm not aware of anything like that. Our secretary does let us know when we have upcoming projects, and I haven't heard anything like that. Doesn't mean that it couldn't get filed tomorrow. Again,
But it would have to come through you guys.
the 18 home subdivision,
Okay.
yes,
That's-
absolutely. I
And all
don't
of
think
you-
Hollis
all
has
of
ever
you-
done 18
And all of
homes.
you would be notified of anything that
It's-
abuts it, or touches it, anything there, you
Across
would
the
know
street
about
from
it. And this is a good time for everybody to come back out if that did happen, because all of that is taken into consideration.
Yes, because I know it's not Sarah Vaughn location. I
So
cannot
my
remember the street
recommendation
name.
is, we have an awesome planning board secretary. She gets our agendas up on I highly recommend that you follow the Hollis website. All of our agendas are posted in advance. You can attend on Zoom. We've got at least 10 people on Zoom today. You can attend on Zoom. You'll see the agenda, and you'll see if there is a proposed new development. I also think that when we do public hearing, so this is a public, at every meeting we have public comment, just like this. Also in the review process, for, depending on the size of the subdivision, there'll be at least one, if not two public hearings, and an opportunity or an invitation to join us on a site walk, which is when we actually go out to the property and walk the property. So that would all be on the planning board agendas. We meet on the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. Wednesday, sorry, thank you.
Yes, no, one of the things that was brought to our attention was, that was brought to our attention, but it was also that maybe put a lien on his property. We had asked last week, didn't get anywhere with it. Put a lien on his properties until he can't build until he fixes this property. And I wanted to make sure that maybe I didn't, because I didn't know about this issue until recently.
Yeah, no, and I first heard of it from watching the select board meeting last week. So we can't put a lien. We don't have the ability to do that,
No,
and I don't really know how that works. I'll be honest, I just don't know.
Either, but I know the town's involved, and that's why I suggested you make a mistake, you fix it, then you can have your property to build on. It's not rocket science, but that's all I have.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Going once. Oh. Excellent. Makes me feel good to know that people are feeling a little more comfortable to come up and.
Opening up the floodgates.
That's well. I think you guys already have the floodgates open. I mean. Hi.
Hi. I'm Cheryl Estrella, and I'm at 24 Sarah Vaughn Road. And going back to what Mr. Berthium was talking about with the property being looked at across from where we live, we're essentially on the town line. So my question to you is, if there is something happening there, it might not come through you guys because it might be, is that Lyman that's right there? It actually might be coming through their town.
So the good news is we have had subdivisions or other builds that have occurred on property lines, and the two planning boards communicate with each other. We will often have a joint meeting. Wherever the actual property is located, they're the ones that get to make the decision. Okay. But we definitely support each other and encourage, and I have yet to find a planning board that hasn't been open to working together, even though one or the other would be like the leader.
Okay.
So oftentimes it's just one meeting, and, you know, that we get an opportunity to look at the plan, and no one has a concern or question, and then it kind of moves on in the other town, and vice versa. Like, we invite others to come to us. So I appreciate you mentioning that as well.
Can I request that you reach out to the other town and find out if there is any plan for that property?
Is that
Just so they're
as long as I'm
aware
allowed
of
to?
the-
Yes, as long as we're allowed to.
Okay.
Angela, can I ask you to just track down, make sure that we're allowed to ask that question? And if so, could you ask that question? Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Please, if you have more, we're.
When you say you're allowed, is that because of the attorney?
No, no. There's certain rules around. So, when something, if an application hasn't been filed, we can't talk about it. Like so if we hear rumors that there's something going on, until an application is filed, we as a board can't do anything. We're not realistically. We shouldn't even be talking about anything that's not in front of us. So that has come in front of us with an application.
And what happens when it's a property owner that's building a single home? Who does that go through?
Code enforcement.
Code enforcement.
And you have to get your building permit, and there's all kinds of, all kinds of requirements. Everybody goes through the building permit process.
All right.
So that would be our code enforcement officer.
But if it's a single house, we don't see that.
Right.
We wouldn't know.
I mean, there's a ton of houses built in Hollis all the time, and we don't know about them if it's just a single here and a single there.
Unless it's on our street.
Unless it's on our street.
Okay. So it sounds like Dwayne Hanson might be the best person there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Last chance.
Last chance at this meeting.
Yes. Thank you guys again for coming out. We encourage you to join, That's, like I said, that's how I handle my frustration at things. I get involved and then out-talk people.
It's the reason a lot of us are here.
Yeah.
It took 6 months to get a car dealership approved for me. I joined a planning board.
Yep.
Keep coming to these meetings. Keep commenting during this period.
But again, we were most courteous, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
We appreciate you guys as well. And like I said, you're more than welcome to stay. We've got 2 pieces of new business on the agenda. It's fascinating stuff. All right, so moving on. We don't have any old business. Terrific. So we're going to go into new business. Perfect. Thank you. Well, now you guys have to do the talking outside that all of us do after we have a meeting. Well, we don't talk, but thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Good luck.
All right. Are we good to move forward, guys?
Please do.
All right. Thank you. All right. So we have our first view of a new 3-lot subdivision. I believe our applicant or our applicant representative is here. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And why don't you give us a little show and tell of your project?
Sure. Thanks for Steve Blake, representing the applicant, who is ELW Properties. The proposed project, so this is a sketch plan application. Yep. It's maybe a little bit further advanced than a typical sketch plan.
Well, you guys are pretty good at your job, so.
Thank you. So we have a completed boundary survey, completed topographic survey. One thing that the plan up here that we have that is different from the plan that you have in front of you is we've delineated wetlands since we submitted the sketch plan application. So there are a few pockets of wetlands. None of them are vernal pools, which is good news for development purposes anyway. So we'd be avoiding those, and those are, if you can see the plan up here, those areas are that dotted line there, and then there's another one right here.
And of course, when you come back for final plan, those will be on the plan.
Yeah, and there will be a wetland or natural resource report that accompanies the application as well.
Terrific.
So this is it's in the rural 2-acre zone. It's a little over, the total property is a little over 6 acres, like almost 7 acres. So each lot is just over 80,000 square feet. We're proposing about a 500-foot long private road as part of this. There is you can see the contours on here, so there's quite a bit of relief on this project. It's not flat, so there's a good opportunity for each of these lots to have some appropriate drainage on them. It's the average grade within the road. It's like 6, 7, 8%, somewhere in there. So this is just kind of our first pass at this. I think it's a pretty straightforward project. We still have some details to figure out as we work through the final plan application. We'll be doing test pits to look at the soils and obviously the potential for private septic, also domestic wells. So there's all those details which the board will have an opportunity to look at as well.
I know one thing that we do like to see on final plans, obviously not on sketch, is like the area where, obviously you don't have to say what the house is going to look like or anything like that, but like where you think the house would be located.
Sure.
So that's, I just know that that's one thing that we often.
Yeah, a lot of times we'll show it just, I guess, to show that it fits appropriately on the lot. We usually don't have much say in where it goes or what elevation it gets built at. So, but we can certainly show it at least conceptually on there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so just for our purposes, so tonight we are doing sketch plan review. Correct me if I'm wrong. We are not looking at it to determine if it's a final app.
Correct.
So we're not doing that it's a complete application.
No.
We're not doing that.
No,
Great.
you'll
So
complete sketch plan at the sketch plan level and.
So I reviewed. So I did my homework. Surprise, surprise. And I did review. And what? Oh, go ahead.
Before you do that, I know Dwayne is on Zoom.
Terrific.
But he's got a short memo in front of you that he's gone over the applicant's packet for Evelyn's Way. He's still got some concerns, even following the diagram that you sent us, Steve, with the hammerhead. Lot 3 looks like its driveway is still going to wind up in the middle of the hammerhead.
Sure, and I think part of it, so the diagram that I sent, the dimensions of the hammerhead are different than what we show on this plan. So, and I don't know, I'm not sure what you guys have in front of you, but I think there was some concern about location of the individual driveways off the end of the hammerhead. And what we've done for other municipalities is we've lengthened the hammerhead and shown zones of where you can and can't have those driveways, just for a variety of reasons, really, for plowing purposes, just so, when the road gets plowed, everything doesn't get plowed directly into someone's driveway. But also so that there's not a misconception about, where the right-of-way is, what land is owned by the landowner, what's owned by the homeowners association. So we've used this typical detail in the past, and it probably, the drawing that you see here probably does need to get changed, at least the dimensions of the hammerhead, and we can detail that out with our next application, just to show that it's, what we've used in the past has worked, and I think that we can do the same thing here.
Hello, Angela.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hi. Hey, Steve. Talked to you on the phone a couple weeks ago.
Hey, Dwayne.
Hi. Yeah. And speaking of test pits, can we make sure on this one we get some reports on those? Harmon's Way, we have 8 test pits and we can't find any results on those. So I just wanted to touch base with you guys to make sure we get copies of that. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
I'm just writing down the things that we want to see when we come
Yeah,
back.
no problem.
So test pit reports, the driveway, hammerhead, updates. Angela, is there fees that go along with this sketch?
He's already paid his
All
fees.
set? Okay.
So this application's already had fees paid and they can move forward as long as you approve their sketch plan review to move on to preliminary.
So I was looking at the sketch plan review. I think it's 4.7 for minor. So as a board, do we agree this is a minor subdivision? It's less than 3. So we do need to confirm that the application is complete, but I think it's a less formal, like it's the sketch plan application is complete. Part of the sketch plan application is that we are identifying, so what we're charged with is identifying any major impacts that might affect the planning, layout, and development of the land, identify special submittals that will be required for the next level of the application, and then if, which we've done a few times in the past, if we want to see alternatives to the proposed development, letting the applicant know now so that they can go back and come back with an additional one of those. And then do we do site walk? Do we schedule a site walk now?
If you want to.
Would that mean we do 2?
You would do that.
Yeah, no, okay.
Preliminary.
Okay. And then these pieces about like proof of ownership, that's all at when we review for completeness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So.
But their deed is in here. So
I did see,
yeah.
yes,
So.
I did see that. So I'm, to this group, we do know that we want to see driveway, a proposed driveway, or where you can and cannot, the buffer, I guess.
Sure.
And then the test pit reports. What else do we want to see?
Thought we had talked about, we had asked on a few of our 3s and up where location of septic as well with the house, because we had the concern that 2 lots get sold, one doesn't, they put the house in lot where now that lot becomes non-buildable due to the 100 feet.
I think that's required in the
If it
final
is, then
plan.
that's fine.
So can I weigh in on that?
Please.
So what we typically do is we'll have two different test pits dug in different locations of the lot, and we'll apply a no well zone to those. So basically just a 100-foot setback from those areas. So you've got a couple different options for where a septic is appropriate, and then also regardless of kind of whichever one of those locations you choose, you have area remaining for a domestic well.
Do you feel that if we
Yeah.
had that would work?
Yeah, that would work,
Okay,
yeah.
great. So at least the test pit area. What else, guys?
Heather, I have a question.
Oh, please, I'm sorry.
Hi, Steve. A final sign off. Can we get that from you guys? Because I'm not an engineer and our road commissioner's not. So I was wondering if we could get a final sign off on the road when you guys feel it's met the standards that's in the criteria of your plans.
Dwayne, that would come at your final
Okay.
inspection, and the final
Yep.
approval is a
Sure.
condition of approval.
Okay, but I'm just throwing it out there now in case I'm not here, in case I don't wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, and I guess I can weigh in on that a little bit, and that's something that we commonly do for projects. I guess the only caveat to that is usually it's the developer that requests that of us to do. So that's kind of the one piece that if they don't ask us to do it, then we're probably not going to go out there and do it. It's really a request from them that would trigger us to do that. So it's certainly something we can do and will do, but it's got to come from the developer.
Is it necessary for us to make it a requirement?
Yeah, if we make it a condition.
The developer has to.
I mean, it's up to you guys, I guess.
So I think that would be something we would keep it in your back pocket. It would be part of our when we do the final plan. Yeah.
I mean, and the certifications that we would typically do would involve an as-built plan and a certification basically saying that the infrastructure that we designed was built per plan. So that's something that we can definitely do.
And
Okay.
is the intent that this would remain a private road, right?
It is. Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
it is. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Dwayne, do you have anything else that you sticks out that we can add that we might want to think about later down the road?
You know, the big thing is that I'm finding with previous developments is you know, the roads not in the hammerheads. We've got another issue with another one that was done in town, North Hollis, that I've gone and measured the hammerhead and it's not correct, and a driveway ended up being put in the hammerhead. So that's why, you know, Angel and I picked up on that part. Wanted to specify that because people, you know, did agree to buy this from this other developer, this house, but I think they're going to realize come July or August, a hot day, and a tri-axle trash truck turns around in that driveway, that they're going to have a mess. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, so sign off is, to me, is getting someone that's made the plans and, you know, take the onus off, you know, the road commissioner and ourselves.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dwayne.
Yeah, thank you.
Steve, one of the other things, that Chief Young brought, we kind of looked at, and we don't even know if it's possible because of the abutter. The entrance, if you're coming from the Pinkhams, is kind of a quick 90-degree. If there was some way to taper that and widen it out a little bit so that they had more of a swing in. No, just the entrance to the road.
Right here.
Yeah, is there some way to kind of squeeze that and widen it a little bit? Is there any wiggle in there?
Well, so yeah, so what you see there is the right of way. So it's 50 feet wide, and I mean, unfortunately, we don't have deeded rights to we can kind of widen out that corner because it's on their property. But what you don't see on this is the actual road, and you know, we could always shift the road slightly off to the other side just to make sure we have enough room to make that sweep with the pavement itself. So that's a detail that we can look at.
And Angela, remind me, we would get, at the final plan, we would also get an additional,
You're gonna see more detailed plans come through your preliminary and your final.
but also, the road commissioner would see that and fire chief.
So the fire chief and the road commissioner have already seen this plan.
Fire chief did not have a comment.
His was just to see about sweeping that entrance and widening it.
Okay.
And the hammerhead, he agreed with Wayne on the hammerhead.
Okay. Okay, anybody else?
I guess one administrative question.
Sure.
Maybe I misinterpreted this, but is there a preliminary and final process for this, or this is a minor?
It's
just
a minor, so it goes from sketch plan, we can go straight into
To
final.
final, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So you heard our asks.
Yep.
If you want to come back with another sketch, you know, for another brief sketch plan review addressing these items, then we could say like, yeah, you're good, we're good to go for the final. Or you can come back with proposed final.
Okay, yeah,
It's
I
up
mean,
to you.
I'm certainly comfortable with everything that we talked about, so as long
Awesome.
as the board's comfortable, then I think we'll probably just move on to final.
Oh, wait, Don, did you want to?
It's just the road frontage on that lot 3, because there's no dimensions really.
So we do need to see dimensions for the 200 feet.
Yeah.
It looks like it's probably close, but without dimensions, I was just asking about it.
They're actually, it's a little bit confusing. They are actually on there, the L1, L2, L3, L4, and there's a legend in the top right-hand corner that defines that. I mean, that, we'll make sure that that's all
Okay.
appropriate.
Yep.
But,
Awesome. So we don't have to make a vote, right?
You'll vote to approve the sketch plan level and move them on to final.
Subject to, okay. So I would entertain a motion. Are you guys ready?
Hold up, Heather, how long do you think you're gonna need?
I guess if I could just ask another question.
Of course.
So just in terms of the process, so this is sketch plan. Next up is final subdivision application. At that point, we would have a public hearing. Potentially.
So we would find it complete.
Find it complete.
And then we would schedule the public hearing for the next available.
So the next meeting, you would find it complete, schedule a public hearing.
Yep.
And then do you think the board will want to do a site walk as well? Would that be a separate meeting?
Yes, I
Okay.
think that we're probably going to do site walks.
Okay.
It's been a hot minute since we've done a subdivision, and
Sure.
we do like, we like each other, so. We like
Okay.
tromping around in the woods in the
almost summertime.
spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, tromping around in the spring, ticks.
Sure. I'm sure it'll be, this is a wide open field for the most part, so. that
Well, then it'll be a nice, easy site walk, won't it?
We'll come during turkey season early in the morning.
Yeah. Okay, so potentially it's the 3 more meetings, including the site walk.
Assuming
That's-
that, nothing comes up.
Sure,
but-
it could be more than that,
Yep.
but that's kind of a minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Angela, I don't think we could do it any faster than that right now.
Depending on,
If they have the ducks in the row, would it not be 2?
it could be 2.
I was gonna
So
say,
if you came to us with everything we need for final approval, so everything that's in the ordinance for final approval, and there were no issues,
Sure.
we could final approval it and schedule, and schedule public hearing, right? We can't, okay.
I guess I was.
Stop talking, listen to
Yeah.
Angela.
Stop and listen. So tonight if you feel you want to approve sketch plan level, if Steve can give me an idea of what he's looking at time frame, we can schedule a public hearing, or we can schedule he can email me and say, yeah, I'm looking at this date. When we come back on May 8th, we can schedule a public hearing based on his time frame, public hearing, site walk, and final plan review.
Okay.
Yeah, we're probably a month away from having an application and design ready, so we've got some work to do still.
Yeah, so he can just keep in contact with me, and at the next meeting, the available meeting, he'll let me know that we wanna come here. I can do all, the notifications can be done. The meeting prior, we can schedule the public hearing and site walk, and
Perfect.
potentially be done in 2.
Perfect.
No promises.
Yeah, no,
I'm a long talker sometimes.
I understand. Just trying to understand the process, so I appreciate that.
We get that. So, I will entertain a motion to, approve the sketch plan as presented with the additional items that we, identified.
So moved.
Second?
There we go.
Any discussion? Don Roth, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 And I vote yes.
Great. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, moving right along. Our next order of business is our next order of new business is a request from Poland Springs for, I guess it would be like an amendment to the conditional use permit they already have, right? Thanks for coming in. Come on up.
Hello, Dan Diffin with CV Mahar Engineers, representing Poland Spring. Here with Darren Corey and Heather Printup as well, who are from Poland Spring. Yeah, so we're here to amend the conditional use permit that exists for the facility now. If you want to go to the next slide, thank you. We thought it would be important first to sort of go over the project goals here, just so we have a clear understanding of our intent with this project. The primary goal here is to improve traffic movements out there in the truck yard and around the yard in an effort to increase safety and relieve some of the congestion that they're seeing in the truck traffic areas. And as part of that, we've looked at the entrance in and providing a new exit out of the facility for truck traffic. So I'll get into that in a little more detail, but essentially creating 2 dedicated tractor-trailer entrances at the current truck entrance exit, having that be an in only, and then creating a new exit south of the facility that would be just a truck exit with direction to sort of encourage right turn only out of the facility. Another part of the project is with some of the shifting of the entrance gates, you'll see we're impacting some of the truck parking spaces as well as some of the truck driver parking spaces. So some of the plan is to reconfigure that and make sure that that is still adequate. In total, I think there's actually a typo here. We're looking at 213 additional truck parking spaces for trailer trucks, and then 4 driver passenger car spaces. And again, these spaces are for providing the facility flexibility to store the trucks on site. There is no increase in production anticipated. This is not for a growth of the production facility at this time. This is really to improve the safety out there and to relieve some of the congestion that they've experienced. And we see some potential for a decrease of some of the third-party truck providers having to leave the facility when their hours are up. With the extra truck traffic or truck parking spaces, we're hoping that they can stay on the facility instead of having to go out into the community. Okay?
So is that what happens now, is that there's situations where there's not enough space? So someone who's at close to their maximum hours would have to go down to the turnpike and rest there.
If they've got enough hours to make it to the turnpike, they pull over on the side of the road at 10 and climb in the back. Supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, the intent, and I'm sure Darren or Heather could speak to sort of all the information they share with their truck drivers, is that doesn't happen. But this gives them more flexibility that in case it does, something goes wrong, especially with the third-party carriers who aren't part of the Poland Springs system, there's extra insurance built into the truck parking. Okay. It's a little hard to see. I don't know if I can. Is this mobile? Could I walk over there?
There should be a mic.
Yep.
Do you got him?
Check. Test. It
Doesn't sound.
As long as they can hear you on Zoom.
Hello?
There
That's
we
better.
go.
Here we go. I feel like a lounge singer of some sort.
Barker.
The price is right. So this is sort of an overview map of the facility here, which is showing the driveway entrance in, which we talked about a little bit. But the existing the bottling facility is here in white, and you can see the existing truck parking here in sort of the shaded out gray. So the new project would be the additional truck parking spaces here off to sort of the southwest, taking this truck in and out and making it a tractor trailer in only. We would still maintain tanker truck access in and tanker truck access out, since most of their use is over in this area of the facility. But all tractor trailers would be brought in. The gate you see here now for entrance would be shifted back into the site, so the trucks could get into the property and queue up at the gate now instead of being right at the road. So we have quite a bit of queuing space back through here. Then we'd add a couple of new gates with card readers, with canopies to protect them from weather, and all those sort of small improvements to make sure they can get through smoothly. And then so those trucks now will be directed back into the site. This is the paving of some truck parking that has bled over into some of the gravel areas. We're just formalizing that. Improvement to some striping here for an island to make sure access is safe again. And then all this over here would be that sort of additional parking to help with overflow, taking some of the peak off of the traffic periods during peak production. And then out here you see our 20-foot wide, one-way, exit-only, right turn lane that we are proposing a pretty substantial directional guidance by radiusing that to go south or right out of the facility. Some other improvements here, you'll see that we're sort of reconfiguring the fence out and around so that the entire parking area is still within that fence. This is the truck driver parking that currently sits here that'll be impacted by those entry lanes. And so we're going to redo that, and we're going to put a small feed office. I'll show you a zoomed-in version of that in a minute. And I think for the overall project summary, that's pretty straightforward. I will say that this circle back here or shape back here represents the gravel wetland that we're proposing to treat all the stormwater from this new paved area. So that all is going to be directed into the gravel wetland, treated and stored, and that's going to connect to the existing detention pond system down and around the property, and then outlet over the other side of Killick Pond Road.
And that's new, that the treat and...
Yeah, the gravel wetlands new. Everything that's existing out there is treated in those ponds per previous permits back, I think, in the early 2000s that went through DEP. Any questions on the overview before I zoom in a little bit?
Might be a stupid question, but why restrict to south only?
For exit only?
Yeah.
It's really to relieve, there's a concern that some of these trucks might go this way, even though they're not supposed to.
Okay.
And that takes them to roads where,
So that's trucks do not enter north and.
well, it's all truck traffic should be turning in and accessing the property from here and exiting this way.
Okay.
Other questions on this before? Okay. Oh, I should have probably, I'll just stay right over there. Sorry. Yeah, so here's that configuration of the new in only for tractor trailers. So these two lanes here now would be dedicated ins. There's an island here, that's the existing island. That is going to be shifted back to here for the trucks to, again, queue up in this space before queuing up in Killick Pond Road. And this will give them plenty of queue space, so that's not even a likelihood. And then here is it's a 12 by 40 fleet office trailer here with the driver parking. That'll give them a place to sit and sort of a gathering area. We haven't shown utilities to this trailer yet, but there will be a sewer connection, there will be overhead power, and there will be a water line. So that's a full service trailer.
What is, forgive me, what is the purpose of that?
Yeah, so it's a gathering space for the fleet truck drivers.
And it will have like a bathroom?
Have a bathroom.
Okay,
yeah. Essentially,
gotcha.
yeah.
Yep, okay.
It's not going to have a spa or anything like that.
Oh, come on. Come on. We get that, right?
sure they would.
Don't put a microwave next to that.
You'll have trash and stuff like that, dumpsters, stuff for places for them to dispose of things that isn't the side of the road.
Yeah, so everything out there is gonna be the way it is operated today, right? Which is with trash pickup, and if you've ever walked throughout that yard, it's very well maintained. And even that new that added parking area to the south is gonna have the same. We'll have the same lighting. It'll have the same stormwater treatment process. So here is really the focus of the new utilities. Other utilities around the site will be underground power for lighting and gate control. Yeah. Okay, so sort of a summary of the results of the project. The project will use approximately 12 acres or a little over 12 acres of the site and will create a little over 8 acres of impervious area for that added parking. Again, no increase in employees or truck traffic as part of this. It's really just to manage the truck traffic they do have today and hopefully improve safety and relieve congestion. No public utility change, no water withdrawal or disposal into the ground, nothing like that, just those utilities out to that office trailer or that fleet trailer. Lighting will be provided, and then stormwater management again, quantity and quality for the new areas will be provided by the gravel wetland. Some of the other reviews that we're undergoing with a project of this scale, we did submit a amendment application to the DEP for the site location permit. This facility already has one. With any sort of additional impervious or development out there, we need to submit to them. Again, we submitted that back in December 2023. We have gotten comments back from the various bureaus. They've been very minor. So we expect to have a permit hopefully in July or early August at the latest. That's when they're statutory.
Makes me feel better about what we do. How long it takes us.
You guys do a great job compared to DEP. We have corresponded with the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Group, who have found no impact out there. They did identify some creatures that we've had to talk about in the past with previous projects, but no impact is anticipated.
Did they give you anything written?
Yep, that's in the application.
It's in the application.
But I did notice going to the MDEP that you said that there was no impact, but they said that there would be minimal impact.
It's a good clarification.
What's the story? Is it
no? It's a good clarification.
Impact, or is there impact?
So if generally when we're working with Inland Fish and Wildlife, if they don't see a significant impact, they're comfortable with the project moving forward. So that's when I refer to it. There's a minimal impact, yeah.
Okay.
But their letter says minimal, so that's
correct.
I would not rely on your PowerPoint. Great PowerPoint.
Thank you.
But I'm not going to rely on that to make my. I'm going to rely on the documents in front of us.
And all that is too covered by the DEP's sort of their purview of their application. They have to look at those letters as well. So then we have the Maine Natural Areas Program, which again said no impact, and the Historic Preservation Commission, which did not identify any areas. If you remember from past projects, they did identify areas, but we went through that study and there was nothing found. And then the DOT driveway entrance permit, we do need to get that for the proposed right turn exit. That's under review with them right now.
Have you gotten any feedback yet?
No.
I don't know how that process.
It's usually pretty quick.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right.
So hopefully by the time we're in front of you again, we'll have their approval or at least some significant input.
And the significant wildlife habitat, that study hasn't been completed yet.
For the vernal pool?
Yeah.
Yep. We had a wetland scientist visit the site, and there are no wetlands on the property.
That doesn't, well, it says, however, a comprehensive statewide inventory for SVPs has not been completed. And so when will that study be completed?
So we're not responsible for a statewide inventory of vernal pools. That would be,
but it's been completed for where you're planning.
Yeah, we've looked at the area, and there are no wetlands identified or vernal pools identified.
So if there's no wetlands, there can't be a vernal pool.
Correct. Yeah. Or they would have flagged it when they were out there.
With yellow flags. I learned this.
Sometimes pink and white striped flags. So that's sort of the overview of the project. I'm happy to get into more specifics, or if you have questions around the goals or the more detailed info.
I saw something about a solar farm, solar planning in here.
Yeah, so that was a project that was approved back in 2021.
All right, that was pre-approved.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
It reads like
no
it's
changes to it.
No changes to it.
Okay.
No. There is some references to it because we're right up against it, so that might be where the confusion.
But it looked like in the plan it was completely separate still. Even the roadway into it was
Correct.
further down than where the new road that you're putting in.
Correct. Yeah, the only really adjustments we're making are around the clearing limits,
Yeah.
and that's because it's on our side of the solar fence. Yeah.
And what about the stormwater runoff from the acreage that you're going to blacktop over? So that's all going to go into that new drainage area?
Yep.
That you were
Yep.
talking
It'll be
about?
controlled and treated through that gravel wetland. Yep.
So that water that would normally be absorbed into the land will just go into that drainage area?
And it'll be treated for the DEP requirements, yeah, and stored and then discharged.
Going over to, let's see, 51G. Let me see if I can find that. 51G, where you talk about any additional fire prevention suppression required or proposed for the proposed parking area and access improvements. Has our fire chief reviewed that?
We haven't received input from the fire chief at this time, no.
Okay, so
He had no concerns.
you had no, okay.
And we would ask for, at the final level, an actual
Okay.
letter that said that, that's all.
Is that something we should pursue?
I don't even see it on here, to be honest.
Okay, thank you.
Do you guys have any additional questions? So at this point, we are at conditional use planning board pre-application. So if I just go through these 6 items, you presented us with a sketch of the site layout, the proposed building, and the proposed use. It could be in pencil, it's obviously not. We discussed whether the use is permitted in the zone. So they're adding additional parking, so it's not actually a change of use. There's no, like, the use itself doesn't change. This is just, it's not adding a use, it's expanding a current use. Okay, so does everyone agree that the use is permitted?
Yes.
We need to identify any major impacts that would affect the planning, layout, and development of the project. I think you mentioned that the parking lot will be lit. I honestly haven't looked at these plans so closely, but we would like to see the lighting.
Okay.
Because we do have some lighting ordinances, and we do have some changes to those that are on the ballot for June, so stay tuned.
Okay.
It might change by the time you get back in front of us. And so that was the only one that I identified myself, that I wanted to see just what the lighting was gonna look like. Do you guys have anything that you think would affect the planning, layout, or development of the project?
Not really, no.
Then we need to identify if there's any special submittals that might be required before the next level. I think the fire chief letter would be one. You know, it's all kind of written out in the application procedure, so section C of this. Is there anything that you guys?
Just other than they're waiting on the letter from the DOT as far as the entrance, but I can't see that site view from there looking right or left. I don't think there's a whole lot of blocking anything.
It's pretty wide open out there, yeah.
It's gonna cause any issues with anything there too much, so is that outside, that out gate, the out road gonna be fenced in with something as far as them leaving?
It will
So
be.
the entire area basically is under.
Yeah.
Lost
So
Beach
it doesn't
somewhere.
extend all the way to the end, but sort of in line with the building
Yep.
will be another exterior fence where there'll be security controls. So that
Okay,
they can,
that was what I was, lost the words there for a minute, that was all, so.
Do you anticipate any increase in noise levels for the abutters?
No, again, this is more just sort of an operational adjustment to make sure that the truck traffic that's out there now has the space it needs to operate in a much more efficient and safe way. So we're not increasing production. We don't expect an increase in truck traffic trips. If anything, this might help spread them out a little bit more so there's not a big peak. So no increase in noise levels.
Have you guys
anticipated.
had any like accident, like trucks crashing into each other or anything? I'm just curious.
Good. Be honest.
Never. We have.
Be honest.
Okay, no, yeah, so.
I'm not out there.
The main reason to get this thing in place is because of safety. It's the pedestrian traffic, it's the truck traffic, it's just, so it's, we've had some incidents, for sure.
Okay.
I was thinking of trucks idling overnight. Like if there's going to be more trucks parked there, are they going to be idling?
I wouldn't expect that, I guess. I mean, I don't know the time frame that they're gonna be there, but.
Yeah, that's not expected. Yeah.
So this is supposed to should help alleviate the trucks queuing up on Killick Pond Road to
Right.
turn in, blocking traffic and snow and stuff like that, people trying to sneak around them.
Yeah, that's one of the intents of pushing that gate into the property
Right.
quite a
So
ways.
it'll help get the trucks off the road to make that safer, because that's a whole situation.
Yep.
And then it'll give them clear direction where they should be going when they leave, and not just following GPS and going.
Yeah, right.
All right, that's
Yeah,
two
if
good
you've driven-
things.
I'm sorry, if you've driven Killick Pond Road during that time,
Yeah.
during certain times, you know that they queue up there. Right now, there's only two or three areas that can queue. This will give them 5 or 6 other lanes to get in there.
And what time of day does that happen, so I know to avoid it?
You can still get around them, it's
Yeah.
okay, but.
Yeah, but that's all, you know, that's
It is,
danger, you know,
yeah.
less than ideal. And not to say that this is gonna resolve all of it, but it should make it less impactful.
A lot of that new part, you're not even gonna see, it's on the backside of the building, pretty much
That's what I was gonna ask. Are all
kinda
these-
hidden back there, I
Yeah.
mean,
All the trees that are there now, in between the new proposed exit and the current, just that dirt road that kind of swings around to the left, are you leaving all those trees so it kind of
Can you-
obscures it?
Yeah, we'll pull it up. I can kind of sketch it out because some of those trees are being impacted by the solar project. So we had some clearing, but there
Yep.
is a chunk that we are going to be leaving. It's hard to see. So this area out here is being cleared for the solar project. But we are leaving this clump of trees here. It's probably I don't know, it's probably 500 feet or so of trees that we'll be leaving between what is now the gravel road and the wood area.
okay.
Is there plenty of sight line after coming out of there to see oncoming traffic when they're turning out?
Yeah, and that's something we'll make sure the DOT agrees with, but it's pretty wide open out
The
there.
other side's very wide open, and
Yeah.
And no changes to the current employee parking?
No.
All right. I don't have anything else.
good. That's pretty basic.
I was gonna say, it seems like a good.
Lucky you're not in South Portland. I couldn't pick a bigger lot for trucks to back into my place.
Yeah.
They
Let's
don't
wait
like
till-
you cutting down trees.
Yeah,
Not at all.
Not at all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll know all about how things are going. Once we get to public hearing, we'll know exactly how things are going. Okay. So we did not identify any special submittals that we needed other than what's written in the zoning ordinance. The levels of review that may be required for the next level, I mean, it's written right here. It is a, we would find the application complete. We're not doing that here, right? Because there's still some pieces. The DOT, the fire chief. So then we would need to do a public hearing. And I think we have the option to do a site walk, but we wouldn't schedule that until the next time you're in front of us. Do you guys think do you think there's going to be any third-party review that we want to see from anyone that we would hire?
I can't imagine. Like I said, it feels, obviously it's a big project.
Yep.
But it doesn't seem that, I don't want to say intense, but complicated. It seems pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see, besides the normal people that look at it, which is engineers and professionals that do that stuff for a living, and provide us with excellent advice, I don't see anything else that I can think of off the top of my head.
Same.
Yeah.
So do we have to vote on something? It's not really a vote.
You have the option, I mean, you could find it complete tonight and schedule a public hearing and a site walk, and at the next meeting, they bring the DOT permit and, Chief Young's letter.
Well, Paul did not like to find it complete until it was actually complete.
Complete with conditions is a way to move the process along faster.
What's your time?
Yeah.
Are we? I mean,
I think we have a truck scheduled to get out there like July or something like. No, it's the intent is to try to get it done started this fall, if at all.
All right.
feasible.
So I feel as if then we don't have to. We don't have to
wait.
push. Yep. And frankly, Greg's an expert on a lot of this, and Greg, our chair, and I would love to get his.
I would like to get his side on
Yep.
the runoff and the gravel, the retention, and all of that kind
Yep.
of stuff. I mean, that's right up his alley.
Yep.
He grooves
he
on
did-
that. He grooves on that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
that's
He did
what
send in a
does.
couple of minor
Yes,
comments.
he did.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course he did.
of course he
We
did.
miss you, Greg.
But nothing here that actually would impact the overall intent of the project.
Okay.
Just clarifications, it sounds like.
All right. So then I think with no need to vote, unless you guys have anything else you want to share. All right.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll follow up and just to confirm, it's the fire chief letter, lighting plans, and input from the DOT. Those are the three things.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all for your time.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we have completed the new business. I don't think that we have anything miscellaneous. Our next meeting, we have a public hearing on the zoning ordinance amendments that we are going to spend no more than 25 minutes on, once we adjourn the formal meeting. And that's what we're gonna do next. So unless anyone has anything to add, I will entertain a motion to, end the meeting.
Second. Motion?
No.
Approved?
No,
Yes.
you have to
So moved.
Second.
That's what I said. Getting there.
Anyone complain about that?
No complaints.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. We are gonna stay in, for a workshop for about 20 minutes. All right, moving on. Cameras are on. Workshop is public. Just an FYI.
Chance of a 2-minute recess.
Yes, let's take a 3-minute recess.
All right, good. Thank you. 3-minute recess.
I hear you. Haha, a lot to talk about. Hi, Mary.
Hi,
We missed your
Mary.
face. Oh, we can't ask. We're in a recess. So I was gonna say if there's anything.
Can she hear us? Hi, Mary. Sorry we missed you tonight.
Hi.
Hi.
Missed you guys too.
Sure. I feel like Andrew's are you giving me dirty looks, girl?
Huh?
Are you giving me
Are
dirty
we
looks?
muted?
Tonight?
No, I gotta. Yeah, it's not.
Where?
Ah,
I gave him too much rain.
So remember this. This is draft amendment highlights by article. So this could actually help us.
It's a checklist.
Yes, but auto isn't on it.
Oh, well.
Add it.
Oh, yeah, it is. Remove auto service station major and minor.
Right, but it doesn't say change.
Doesn't say change.
So it just makes me feel a little bit more. So, Angela, this from 4/10/2024 draft amendment highlights by article are all these changes except for what we said last time, like keep that, don't keep that. Are all these changes reflected in here?
To my knowledge, yes.
Okay, so I guess. I'll be honest. I'm pretty uncomfortable with like in 20 minutes adding a bunch of stuff. So these items under add, I would say, well, we save that till the next. We've already gone through all the other articles, though. I mean, there's this real. I'll be honest. I'm pretty uncomfortable with
Trying to bust it out in 20 minutes. We just call it and go work out the next one. We have round 2. Does anybody see anything that really pops out at them that they'd really like to address in those last 20 minutes, down to the wire?
So adding solar farm, I don't want that. I would want to have a larger discussion about that.
Absolutely.
So I would say for me, I would prefer to have all of these added items, except however we dealt with. We never even got to banquet hall. I would say we don't add any of these. The changes, I would say, if we only got to auto, the only thing I would want to change is just accessory dwelling unit. And then I wouldn't remove these because we haven't talked about them.
We still add dwelling to family because it's related
Yes.
to 2003.
Yes, you're right. The dwelling and the multifamily. And then we already looked at the use table for accessory and the 2 dwellings, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you guys think?
I think that's realistic. Because most of these involve conversations that I think round 2 is more appropriate for.
Mm-hmm.
And not rushing to change stuff, sorry. Just to check off. It's 9 o'clock at night, man, I can't do it. Just to check off boxes to say we done it. There's no need to rush it.
In the performance standards section, there I see new standards. I know I remember talking about cannabis businesses, but that was in the use table. Did we talk about these other sections? So this is on the last page of the notes. New standards for knock boxes, cannabis, campgrounds, motor vehicle fueling station, elderly housing, food service, inn, motel, hotel, bed and breakfast, solar farms, and veterinary offices.
We discussed most of that, I think, last.
I thought so.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks we definitely covered all of those.
Okay, perfect. So then I'm good with that. Yeah, I mean, I think.
So let me just that's all new. Solar farms is all new.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's all under. I'm still going off the last thing. Is that in the new revision? So 637. I probably could have just looked instead of brought it up. Sorry. I just didn't know if it got added, or if we said we're not adding it because we haven't talked about it.
634.
We're not adding it because we haven't talked about it. All right. Nope. Fantastic.
Wait, what are you saying? 634 to?
6
is solar farms.
Oh, 634 is solar farms.
6.34. Got it.
So we've added this, but we haven't talked about it.
6.3.
Do you guys remember discussing this?
It's not solar farm. Is that what you're talking about?
Correct.
And not what the size is? I'm sure we didn't talk about that.
So we haven't discussed this, but it's going in the ordinance after tonight.
Want to give that one the 20-minute?
No, I want to give that one.
No, I don't
just
give that one
take
like
it
2
out.
weeks.
Take it out.
Yeah, I would say these new standards. So let's find these new standards, which are in Article 6. And we did move the net density. We did amend general performance standards for non-residential, obviously accessory. Move campgrounds to later in the section and amend standards.
We discussed campgrounds, though.
We did.
I'm comfortable with.
But we didn't discuss the definition, did we? I think we discussed.
I don't remember discussing the definition. Did we change the definition? Give me 2 seconds.
It's not on the change list.
I know, I'm just gonna look, because I still have the old.
Nice.
Campground, it says we didn't change the definition of campground.
Great.
Well, by this definition, if you have like 2 RVs on your land overnight, it's a campground.
2 more parties in temporary living quarters, including all items.
So that's not
An attraction established for overnight use for the purpose of. But I think we're more reaching towards the fact that we didn't change it. That's what we have.
Yes.
Where did campgrounds go in the performance standards?
6. Sorry.
Was 6.6.
631.
6.29.
6 point. Now. Oh, in the new one.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we did. We talked about 14,
Yeah.
11. So we did go through those.
Yeah.
All right. So that
And we're
stays.
not changing the definition.
Right.
So that can stay.
Yep. I think we did go through these. So knock boxes. Got it right here. 1 and 2 family dwellings, knock box. Yep. We talked about that, right? The cannabis is just a reference to the ordinance, which the standards are there. Campground's good. Motor vehicle fueling station.
That was when we.
I mean, we did talk about that, right?
Yeah, we definitely talked about the screening, the lighting.
Yep.
And we adjusted.
6.30. Dark sky friendly certified poles. Canopy lighting should not spill
We
over.
have a definition? Oh.
No, this is just,
No, for motor vehicle fueling station.
yeah, it's 6.30.
No, a definition. I
No
don't see it.
definition.
There's no definition?
It's not in here. No, add, it's in the add section. So,
Do you have it in yours? I don't see it in the old one. Or the previous.
yeah, it's in the new one,
Okay.
but I don't think we talked about it.
That's the issue.
I think that's when you guys started and then stopped.
We ended on talking about service station, and then how is it different from junkyard? And then we said, all right, that's going to be a longer conversation.
So, motor vehicle fueling station, the definition's been added and stuff has been added.
Right, but we've already said anything that was on this add list, we're not adding.
Okay.
So the version we want to see
Yep.
next time will not have
Motor vehicle fueling
Article
station.
2. It will only go changes up until accessory dwelling unit, because we didn't make any changes to. So this is definitions. We got through. We got through aquafire dependent industry. Then we got to auto sales, auto garage, et cetera, and that's where we stopped.
Yep.
All right, so
So,
we don't want to make any of the changes after, in Article 2, after accessory dwelling unit. So we want to see that come back without any of these changes. Then we want to see it come back without the add, that entire section. And then we don't want to see removal of auto service station, major and minor, because we haven't discussed it yet, or anything else in that section.
back office use, clinics, commercial.
Yeah, those, we
use.
haven't
Okay.
talked about any of that yet.
Yep.
And then The standards, we only go up to, like, if we remove motor vehicle fueling station, we can't have a standard for that because we don't have a definition for it. And then is elderly housing in yours?
In the old one,
Yeah.
the definition,
Yep.
2 seconds. Let me see, elderly housing, yeah, and it's an unchanged definition.
Okay, so it looks like there were some new standards for elderly housing in the performance. So I just gotta find those, make sure we talked about those.
634. Oh, 634 in mine. I don't know what it is in yours.
Probably 631. Thank you.
And it talks about all construction being conforming with Americans with
Yep.
Disability Act, maintaining a safe sanitary manner. And then we struck 6343, I believe.
And that is struck in this draft, so that stays. Food service, so I think the food service one, if we don't change the definition, we might just have to change how it's referenced here.
Food service establishment, it is a changed definition.
Takeout drive-in.
In the definition.
Uh-huh.
So an establishment where food, that stays the same, they've added and design of the facilities, advertising, signage, and packaging do not promote the consumption of food or beverages off the premises. Such establishment may offer indoor and outdoor seating, takeout services may be offered, but must be subordinate to the primary eat-in operation. That's food service establishment and restaurant. They've taken out lounges and cafes. They've taken it out because it kind of encompasses it all.
In the performance standards, this says that we changed food service establishment, takeout, drive-in standard. In my version, it's 6.32. It's probably 6.35 in yours. Can you just check and see if we actually made a change?
6.3, food service establishment, takeout, drive-in.
Yep.
It's all added stuff.
Okay, so we agreed to this? Yes. Drive-through lanes designed to move in counterclockwise.
I remember talking about all that.
Yeah, all right. So we're good with that. In motel, hotel, bed and breakfast, it looks like we made changes to,
We took out each rental unit shall include private bathroom facilities.
Okay. Is that in the definition or the
That's
performance
in
standard?
the performance standards.
Does everyone recall that and good with that?
Yeah, it's when we talked about the difference between a kitchen and a bathroom. We definitely did.
Yep.
And then I put a star next to solar farms because I assume we stopped there.
So, I don't feel as if we've talked about solar farms enough to include it in here at this time.
Yep.
All right, so solar farms.
They're existing. I don't have it right now.
Oh, really? Solar farms are?
I said what is.
Oh.
I don't know that we have it in there at all.
Definition or what's the?
So now it's in 634. Oh, in the existing one currently?
Yes, current today's.
I don't think there's anything because this is all added under this 2 variations ago ordinance. The one that still had red lines and underlines and stuff. So I don't believe we have something currently. It doesn't show that we have anything currently in this draft.
I think you guys talked about this because I know one of you guys questioned the 8-inch fencing off the ground and why.
That's right,
What
we
animals
did.
under it says it underneath. it.
Right, you guys, somebody questioned.
And lighting on and off too.
Yeah.
Remember
the
that?
on-off lighting.
Oh yeah,
I
okay.
don't think I was here on that meeting.
That's right, because we said why does it need to turn on and off with the motion thing?
Right.
You're right.
So does that mean that we can keep solar farms?
I
highly suggest it.
Yeah, no. Because I remember talking about, you're 100% right. About why does it have to turn on and off automatically? What's the purpose? So deer can turn it on. And squirrels and raccoons.
So very quickly, go to the definition of solar farm and make sure we're comfortable with that. It's pretty generic. And then that would be one item, Angela, that we would keep. Or in the ad.
That's a pretty big half a megawatts, sufficient to not include anybody's little solar farms on their property. I think the limit is nice.
I wonder if there's a state definition.
I thought it was 5 kilowatts for.
0.5.
I'm thinking 0.5 megawatts is what I'm thinking. All right.
That's
0.5 megawatts is a decent amount.
Place where a large number of solar panels are used to produce 0.5 megawatts or more electricity from the energy of the sun.
And then anything below that, who covers that? Code enforcement? Okay. I just want to make sure it's caught somehow.
And performance standards wouldn't apply. Anything smaller than that.
All right.
So, do we agree that the definition of solar farm can stay?
Yeah, because we have a working
Yep. Performance standard.
Performance standard.
Okay.
Anybody else? Does anybody disagree?
Well, the main statute calls them utility scale solar.
Do they define what utility scale means?
I'm looking at that now, but I don't want to not say anything.
Yeah. No. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Utility scale solar projects would be maybe another way to call it.
Do you think we add it to the what's it called? Leave this and then add
I would
it to the round
replace
two
this
stuff?
stuff. I would replace solar farm with this word.
When we do
Utility
the round
scale.
two stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
And then just leave this for now and then.
That's fine. I just want to see if
Okay.
we have a 0.5 megawatt limit.
Oh yeah.
And then in that new standards, veterinary offices and kennels. Not sure what we did.
Yeah, we definitely did kennels because we talked about how close it would be to
Yep.
other properties.
I do remember that.
We don't have
Definition?
we don't have a definition in this copy.
A location where animals are kept for commercial purposes, including but not limited to grooming, breeding, training, selling, daily care, or overnight boarding.
So that would be so that's one that's under the change.
Why
So
am I not seeing? Where do you see that definition?
423 version.
423. What page?
15.
15.
it's
I'm
right.
too far forward.
It's right after
Sorry.
junkyard.
Yeah. Sorry, that's my fault. Means I'm too far forward. This one. So we just didn't have it in the old copy at all.
Yeah, the term kennel wasn't in there.
Okay.
So I don't know what the changes are to the.
I think there was distance from house. We definitely.
So there's not. So we had nothing for veterinary office and kennel. Period. So it's all new.
According to the town of Hollis, you do not have
A veterinary office account.
a veterinary office or kennel.
Okay.
Except. So veterinary office is not defined in here. Do we feel like we need a definition? I think it's
Not found in the new one?
nope. It's added kennel, but did not add anything.
Everything in the use table should have a definition.
I agree.
I don't think we have time to make that happen. So I guess we just kind of move forward with it as if we agree that the performance, I worry less about the definition as I do about the performance standards.
Okay.
So if we agree that the performance standards are solid, then that can stay in, that we agreed to, I guess I should say. All right. And 8:59, look at that.
Hold on.
So Angela, can you,
I'm gonna steal your notes from you.
okay. And do you want me to do the red line?
I might have a red line in my email.
Okay. I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, I might already have it.
And when I did the red line, if it was just a comma or a spelling, I did not identify that as a red line. It's only the real changes. So I did go through and like try to make it as easy to read as possible. I mean, but I failed miserably, so. All right, so we don't need to adjourn because that was a workshop. Done.
That's it. Hold on.